Vine was sitting on a swing in the garden and her feet moved to and fro. She was deep in thought as the leaves and flowers ruffled due to the wind. It was a cloudy day. It made her sad above the trouble she was already going through. She couldn't stop thinking about her boyfriend, Jasper. He looked tense for a few days now. They were all happy and madly in love with each other. But then he slowly started to zone out often and started looking stressed. She was simply worried of his well being. She just returned home from university as she ordered some meal to have it together once he returned home. A smile brought up to her lips, jumping down from swing to welcome him as he came in her sight. Jasper, she called and ran towards him, kissing his cheek, her smile leaving a little when he forced a little smile in return. Come on, I ordered us a meal. Holding his arm, she dragged him inside. She knew asking him would be fruitless. He wasn't going to say a word. She wished to distract him a little from whatever was concerning him. Once the two sat down for the meal, Wine made sure he ate well, and it was a victory when she managed to make him smile in between. Wine, Jasper called as he held her hands. I don't want to put you in any trouble, but I think you deserve to know. Wine, you can tell me, Jasper. I don't want you to suffer alone. Whatever it is, I'm going to support you. He looked down, ashamed of himself before managing to say a word. Jasper, do you remember 3 weeks ago we went to the Ocean and Sunshine Resort to celebrate our 4-month anniversary? Ocean and Sunshine was the resort chain that spread across the country. It was a place where one time meal cost you a fortune. It came a surprise to Wine that Jasper was able to afford it, a place where people with great wealth and properties failed to enter. But he said he saved a lot, and it was a surprise for her. Jasper, unfortunately, we came in eyes of an extremely dangerous mafia. His eyes fell on you, and they contacted me the very next day. They said, either I give you to them, or they are going to kill me and take you forcefully. He looked down, unable to match eyes, and Vian's hands slowly slipped away from him. She backed away, color draining from her face and sweat forming on her forehead. Vian, what are you talking about? That is a joke, right? Just look at me. She stood up, out of disbelief. He was not even looking at her. This was real. So real she wanted to run to washroom and throw out. Vian, what do you mean they are going to take me and kill you? Take me for what? Why? Tell me something. Jasper, he wants to marry you. Jasper, Vian, I have done everything I could. Offered him money. I thought maybe he will accept it. I started with extra part time jobs. I left the university. I did everything I could to save you. But he is so reluctant on getting you. He gave me the time of 3 weeks. It's the deadline tonight. Vian, you left university? She gulped and fell down on her knees. The boy had teary eyes. How come she failed to notice he was worn out? How come she never realized his trouble was this big? Vian, were you fighting alone with those men? They are so dangerous they could have killed you. She cried, unable to take any of this. Currently, the thought of him dying seemed more scarier than her forced marriage with a criminal. Jasper, how was I supposed to hand you over to them? I'll find a way. You don't have to worry about a thing. Ryan, they're so dangerous. What's wrong with you? She yelled. Jasper, then what do you want me to do? Give you to them? She got quiet. The next whole hour, the two exchanged no word. It was too much for Ryan to make a move. She wondered if dying was a better option than getting forced with a criminal. They are dangerous and ruthless. A mafia above that has no mercy to show people. Was she going to become a slave? Was there any option? Would police be able to help them? Ryan, he's going to take me anyways. Jasper, no Ryan, stop there. Ryan, you give me up willingly or not, I'll be taken away. I can't have you dying in vain. Jasper shook his head and he stepped forward and held her arm, which she forcefully yanked away and stood up, stepping back. Ryan, I can't take my life decisions and this is my choice. When they come, that's me against that man. You have nothing to do with this anymore. The doorbell rang. They usually had no visitors. It only prickled their skin knowing who it could be. Jasper, look at me. Go to your room, I will handle them. Now just go, please. Don't do this to me. Ryan simply pushed him away and walked to the door, opening it. Why would she let him die when the results were not going to change? She might have gone crazy, but life didn't always give you sunshine and rainbow options. Her insides getting taken over by strong fear at the sight of a man thrice her size. He was extremely bulked up with biceps the size of a watermelon. He pushed the door open completely to fit his massive frame and forced himself in, taking a look around the home. Two more men came in, looking like the guards like the first one, and then there was him. A man in an attire different from the guards. A man so crisp with ice cold eyes and features so heavenly, she almost mistook him for the handsome villain of a famous drama. He could be mistaken for walking on a red carpet. He walked in, slow, dreadful steps advancing towards her as she stepped back, hands balled in fists but visibly shaking. His eyes never moved off her, taking in her whole self with his amusement filled eyes. Oh, how much he waited to have her. Once he was in, his eyes moved to Jasper, who never moved from his place, then back towards Ryan. I am Jungkook, and it seems you are aware of the reason behind my visit. His tone was calculated and deep. It ran chills down her spine. Ryan, to forcefully marry me. He didn't bat an eyelash. It was true. Ryan, you can't. I'm not a toy. Please leave me and him alone. Jungkook, are you requesting me to leave him alone? His eyes filled up with a dark gleam, close to amusement. Ryan, he is my boyfriend. I love him. Marrying me won't do you any good as long as my heart belongs to someone else. It was true she was scared to bits. She wanted to cry out and hide under a blanket. Jungkook saw her figure shaking miserably which she was trying to hide, but failed completely. Jungkook, you love him, even when he is giving you to me. His hand slid across her cheek, grazing ever so softly, which she wanted to swat away so badly. But the thought terrified her. He was not a man she could escape from if she was even a little bit of disrespectful. His giant guards dug holes in her skull with their hawk like eyes. Ryan, he's not giving up on me. You are going to kill him and take me away forcefully. It was the first time she saw an emotion in his eyes other than amusement. He was confused. It reflected for a moment before it turned back to their previous self. A smile forming on those lips. It was almost mocking. So dark and menacing, it made her inside twirl and cry for help. Jungkook, is that the pretty story he fed you with? To be continued.